In 2022, a new teaching program was launched, jointly run by the Australian National University and the University of Papua New Guinea. The aim of the program was not only to train students in archaeological techniques, but to demonstrate the importance of working with communities on whose land we work and whose cultural values must be respected. Panaeati Island, within the Milne Bay Province, was a natural choice for a field school program in Papua New Guinea because of the amazing communities. I am proud to have worked together with the communities since 2017 to develop an understanding about the long-term human histories of this island region so that it is available for all future generations. I am indebted to them for their kindness, ingenuity and wisdom.
Since the first day when Ben came, I was the one who brought Ben. I welcomed him in and I was really supporting him with a job, the archaeology job, until the whole community was interested, and then they all came to join us. Yeah, we really appreciate when Ben come walking lo, hablo mipla, and mipla mamas to mas. Very interesting.
Papua New Guinea plays a vital role in understanding the dispersal of people into the once joined continent of Australia and New Guinea. No matter which pathway people used to traverse this diverse landscape, they would eventually have reached the Milne Bay Islands, otherwise known as the Misima. People have lived on Panaeati Island for at least 17,000 years, and since this time, changes in sea levels following the last ice age have transformed the landscapes and how people have lived on them. We are only now beginning to understand how people adapted to these massive changes and the implications this has on our world today. Around 3,300 years ago, people migrated into Papua New Guinea from Southeast Asia and introduced many new cultural practices, including pottery making, setting the stage for one of the largest maritime migrations in human history, the colonization of the Pacific. In the Milne Bay Islands within the last 1,000 years, more regular maritime connections between islands were established. The most famed is the Kula. On Panaeati, archaeological evidence is helping to understand the formation of Kula and other networks. All that remains of the distant past are the fragmented remains of objects that people once used, such as pottery. Perhaps discarded as rubbish centuries or millennia ago, it now provides a window into understanding the human past. The 2022 students will work with the communities in search of this evidence spanning 700 years or more. An early morning start for the team, with everyone taking precautions to avoid taking COVID to Panaeati. There was no shortage of nervous energy on the plane, with a smooth arrival into the nation's capital, Port Moresby. Once settled into the hotel, it was off to UPNG to meet the rest of the team. For the day to spare, a trip to the nature park to see the diversity of animals in PNG. A barbecue at the Arifeae estate topped off the day and allowed everyone to relax. The next day it was off to the National Museum and Art Gallery, the custodians and regulators of the nation's cultural heritage, to get permits for the excavations on Panaeati. Also an opportunity for the students to meet the museum staff, see the world-class exhibit space featuring objects of a remarkably diverse cultural past. A surprise trip to the NBC radio station with Joycelyn Arifeae for a chat about archaeology and the field school program with the wonderful host Eileen.
Chose Ryan to be the voice this afternoon. So Ryan.
Thanks, Irene. Yeah, so it's my first time in Papua New Guinea, and I'm studying Tok-Pisin language and culture. So it's great to be here in PNG and to be talking with people.
One of these organizations is the National Museum. We enforce the law because a lot of our history is unknown with the students here. We may try and encourage where a lot of our history is documented, because the importance of that is for future generations.
Long before the sun comes up, we are at the airport checking in for our flight to Misima Island. The day is clear and calm, giving the students a bird's eye view of the stunning PNG landscapes. Upon landing, we were greeted by our wonderful host Lincoln Wesley, taking a truck down to Pagoya Harbour, our point of departure for Panaeati Island. After taking an hour or so to get food supplies at the local stores, the team and gear are loaded onto 3 dinghies for the journey along the south coast of Misima, skirting the monument-like limestone terraces that rise straight up from the sea. After a brief stop to top up the fuel tanks, it was a short trip across to Panaeati, surrounded by a vast lagoon, and our home for the next 2 weeks. Before we reached our destination, Lincoln and the crew treat us to a short stop on a stunning island on the edge of the lagoon, a truly tropical introduction to the region.
So, it's 2022, it's the first field season for the students, and here we are. We've just come along the south coast of Misima, we're on our way to Panaeati. We've just stopped off on this beautiful little sandy cay. See the colour of the waters, it's a slice of paradise.
We're on the island right now. Panaeati and Panaeati, our next destination.
The team is blown away by the warm welcome upon our arrival to Lolau village, followed by short speeches by the community and the team, then time to settle in and meet everyone.
This is a family, it's not a community, and this is Simon and Ben's family.
I'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for opening up your home. We look forward to sharing some stories and some meals over the next 2 weeks. There are many ways of cooking in PNG, but steaming vegetables using hot stones is an absolute treat. The women of Panaeati are the backbone of the community, and we owe a great deal to your remarkable hospitality. Ateu komiu. Before we head out around the island, we arranged to give a talk at the local primary school.
Thank you.
Mululuga, boys and girls. My name is Dr. Ben Shaw. Today I want to talk to you about archaeology. Archaeology is the study of the human past.
Vincent Kewibu is my name. I come from Rabara.
So today we're here in West Panaeati to meet with community members and resolve any concerns about what we'll be working on here at Muma, and make sure everyone's got the opportunity to ask questions and have a full understanding of what we want to achieve, and of course make sure we have appropriate permission so everyone's on the same page and we can go ahead with our excavations later this week.
We're here on West Panaeati, coming around the coast through Kasalala and Tanualia to see some old friends. It's been a great opportunity here for the students to come and meet everybody and see the villages, and it's an extraordinary day. Light wind to keep that temperature down, and everyone's just walking out along the limestone coral flats here during low tide, exploring, taking photos. Panaeati in the background here. Absolutely beautiful. Before walking to the archaeological site, all measuring equipment is checked and the buckets marked with litre increments so we can measure how much sediment is excavated. The site is located 1.7 kilometres inland, so each day it is a 20-minute walk along one of the main pathways. The students take the chance to get familiar with the area, with the clan members working with us take no time at all to make mats and sieving tables. After a short briefing, the areas that were excavated in previous years were relocated and the backfill removed. The wildlife in the area gets fed up with all the commotion and slowly moves on.
Okay, so day one, we're reopening the trenches to reveal the stratigraphy, and then we're going to string them together.
Alright, so we're back here at Muma.
this is the second day. Yesterday we just had a bit of a look around and got ourselves orientated and spent most of the day opening up our 3 units that we dug in 17, 18 and 19. Today we put in a baseline along the western edge of these units so we can have a continuous trench going along so we can find out more about the underlying features that are dug into this coral here. And we've set up 2 new units at the end here, which is going to be units D and E, which the students are about to start excavating now. Also, to get a continuous sequence, we're going to take down these sections in between them, 50 by 100, and we're just going to take these out systematically but in larger chunks, just so we've got that sequence of events that we can follow along this slight rise. If you look behind us here, it's a little bit lower, then as you get up to the house it's higher again, so we want to start exploring some of the variation in land use over the past 700 years and potentially over the past 4,500 years. So over the next few days we'll go down and we'll expose some of this coral limestone and we'll see how it's been used by the people here in the past.
It's not long before the team have got the hang of things and they're off, with everyone getting a go at digging, sieving and recording.
Yeah, we're slowly getting there. Yeah, working down these walls and eventually reach the middle. But yeah, found a bit of pottery and stuff. A lot more rocks.
The sound of everyone chatting and laughing is a sure sign that spirits are high.
Just doing some wet sieving for the day's excavation. See if we can pick up anything we might have missed in the field. Give everything a good clean and see what we can find. Pottery or obsidian or charcoal.
Before long it's Sunday. There is no work on Sundays, but we've arranged for an hour-and-a-half dinghy ride across the lagoon to Brooker Island, where I had previously undertaken excavations and where Lapita culture was to find in the region for the first time. Vincent, Simon and I meet with the counsellor, find old friends and introduce the students to the Brooker community. We then set out with the community to see an area of Guntuka Bay that had been cleared for construction of a new school. It's exciting that the next generation will be taught here, in the same location where archaeological evidence indicates people have lived for over 4,000 years. Some of the students then try their hand at husking and opening coconuts.
Yeah, so we're just departing Brooker Island now. We just came to visit. We visited Ben and Simon's old pit, where a lot of good stuff was found, up to like, it was like 40-50 centimeters down. They found lab with like Lapita culture, and yeah, it was really good.
In the afternoon it was time to head back to Panaeati, but not before following the seabirds to where the fish were jumping to catch a few for dinner. Nick caught his first fish at sea, and from there it was all smiles. Monday morning and the team was re-energized and ready to go. They had reached the main cultural layer and lots of evidence was being recorded. A diverse range of pottery traditions reflecting the extent of the maritime connections around 700 years ago when there was a village at this site. Even the site mascot Judgy had found his favourite spot to catch the morning sun. Detailed mapping of in situ stones was undertaken, and the odd attempt at something that looks like dancing. With the coral limestone slowly revealed, so too is evidence of how it may have been modified when people first lived in the area, all of it carefully measured.
Right, so we're going to complete this speed. We've been excavating 10 cm down, but then we changed to 5 because we saw changes in soil texture and color. And so we're going to get this one done and then start on a new one and see
Today is Wednesday. We had a late start because of the rain, but in Unit F, we found a big pottery here. I decorated one, yeah. There's a markings on it.
Any decoration?
It's plain.
This would be something I'd consider dating.
Charles carefully collects charcoal for radiocarbon dating. In Unit F, as the excavation gets deeper, the cultural evidence gets denser.
We reached the bottom of layer 2 and we found some pottery, obsidian. Also, there's a stone artifact here, we don't know yet, but it might be a file or some stone axe. Might be a stone tool or something.
Back in Unit BC, Nick has revealed a cluster of stones, including one that looks different to the others. He carefully excavates around it and prepares to lift it.
Pretty loose. Oh, yeah.
Check it, don't move.
I'll check it. That's the idea.
Looks good, Nick.
Oh, it's looking good, Sophie. Look at that.
Look at that. Wow.
Oh, shit.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What do we think that is? Do a bit of a clean up. That greenstone, do you think?
Well, it's looking pretty green.
It's a very unusual shape, isn't it?
For grounding something?
Yeah, it is a weird shape. We have a rock here that came out of BC, in situ find number 5, in spit 2. And then we were going to see if it fits with the surface find from the southeast corner of Unit A. Wow, look at that.
Each piece of evidence needs to be cleaned before it can be catalogued, which is a strict condition set out by the National Museum and Art Gallery. It can then be analysed before being curated at the museum or returned to Panaeati for safekeeping. Work stops to celebrate Independence Day with the community. The team is invited as a special guest to the proceedings that starts with a march to the school grounds, the raising of the flag, and traditional dances.
The group is from West Panaeati Ward. They are dancing our traditional culture dance.
A special moment as the team is led into the seating area, where Henry is invited to deliver the Independence Day speech.
A gentleman by the name of Sir Michael Thomas Sumare. He said Papua New Guinea must look after themselves.
A complete surprise follows, with a traditional custom. The tree carried from the bush to the coast. Traditionally, anything in its path would be knocked down. In this case, a banana, as a demonstration. I was invited to place a wreath on the tree root, marking the end of its journey. The day wrapped up with coffee, food, and a game of volleyball.
Okay, we've reached spit 5. We've reached some coral and a few bit of roots. We're just exploring the pockets here and here to see if we've got something under there. But a lot of our finds were in spit 3 in the southeast area there. We've got 12 from there. And yeah, that's it.
We're in Unit F. We've come down to about 30 centimeters, and very interestingly, I've come across quite a dense cluster of stones, and among them a rim sherd we found in situ, and it's showing evidence of black burnishing, which is quite different from some of the earlier pottery we're finding higher up.
With excavations wrapping up, it's time to do the final drawings. The different layers revealed in the exposed sediment are recorded, and so too is the undulating surface of the coral limestone. The drawings provide much needed context for the cultural material recorded throughout the excavation. With the drawings complete, there was just one thing left to do.
1, 2, 3.
Back at the village, the final sorting and bagging is completed, ensuring that each bag is labelled and securely packed away. Since Independence Day, Lincoln and I had planned a surprise barbecue for the students on an uninhabited island along the edge of the lagoon. Lincoln had already dropped some of our host community on the island to build a shelter and prepare food. To maintain the surprise, I told the students that even after a long day at site, we needed to travel along the coast to investigate another potential archaeological site. Needless to say, they were not too thrilled about doing yet more work. As the students walked onto the beach, Lincoln had them line up for a photo, with the students unaware that everyone was hiding beneath the sand. They lay hidden until Lincoln gave the signal for the surprise. After much laughing, high fives and handshakes, the party began with even more questionable attempts at dancing. After an afternoon of swimming, eating and relaxing, it was a sunset cruise back to the village across the calm waters of the lagoon, with smiles all round. The next night was the final farewell with the amazing community that hosted the team and made us feel at home. The festivities began with heartfelt speeches from each of the team.
It's been a life-changing experience for me, and something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Gifts were exchanged and the night continued with dancing and much laughter. Before long, the team got some much-needed rest ahead of the early morning departure back to Misima Island to catch our flight, starting the long journey home. Upon arrival at Misima, it was clear that the weather had not read the script, with heavy rain and strong winds preventing planes from landing in the grassy strip for 6 days. Not to worry, as in the meantime we were comfortably accommodated at the wonderful Misima guest house. With time to burn, the team became well versed at darts, cards and karaoke, and when the rain allowed, a walk around the coast. With the clouds gone, the sun shining and the airstrip drying, the sound of an approaching plane was a welcome sight.
Oh my god, no, we're not going to move on the cloud.
As the plane lifted off, the team reflected on the journey so far, while being treated to a last look at where they had spent the last 2 weeks as we flew over Panaeati Island. We arrived into Port Moresby as the sun was setting. Before long, we were back at the Raintree Lodge. As is tradition, Simon, Charles and I had quietly collected gifts during the trip to present to the students the light-hearted award ceremony.
We would like to present the Mel Award to also our Guai Queen.
On our final day, it was time for the ANU and UPNG students to say goodbye, for now. Although an experience like this often forms lifelong friends.